Well, we have a tough one this week. Good football team, playing really well, scoring quickly, a lot of drives in 2 minutes or less. They've got 4 or 5 weapons on offense that are really good. Their quarterback is a really good player. Their tailback, a couple receivers are really good. Their defense is healthy and playing very well. They're making plays in the kicking game. They returned a punt for a touchdown last week. So there's good reasons why they're where they're at record-wise in the conference. They're getting lots of takeaways on defense. And so they're a pretty complete football team in every aspect, and certainly be a good challenge for us against these guys. And I know they'll be motivated. It'll be their seniors' last home game, and of course they'd like to win the conference championship outright. So we better get ready to play. Everybody good? I'll see you later.
You want to talk anything about Idaho, Coach?
Oh. Idaho. Did we play them? Yeah. Okay. Sure. What do you want to know?
Well, your team was down a couple times when I came back. you had first and goal, 7, couldn't get the ball over 5, and 4 plays. Was that really the turning point of the game, Coach?
Well, there were 2 sequences in the game that I would say probably identified it. In the first series, Steve, did you get to see the game? Okay. First series, Kareem Berry hits a quarterback, ball goes on the ground. We almost picked it up and ran it in for a touchdown, and then we couldn't even recover it. Okay? But we hold them. They punt to us in the first play of the game. The guy puts his helmet on the ball, and it goes out. They recover inside the 10. They get a touchdown.
26-yard loss and 12 less than 10.
Yeah. Pretty big swing right there. 14 points, really. And then, of course, we don't get it in, and they go 95 yards to score in about 20 plays or so. To me, those, and then the third piece of the puzzle that went against us is we've got them 3rd down and about 6 or 5, and we jump off sides, and on a ball we knocked down that would have made it 4th down, we'd have got the ball back. So those are 3 swings in there, but the guys played hard, fought hard. It was a interesting game from an offensive standpoint because Ryan Carden didn't play. Lawrence White went out with an injury at one time. Rob Lowe did not play much. Tyler Zadinsky went out at one time with an injury. It was Tim Gay at one time went out with an injury. It got a little dicey calling plays for Coach Schultz and I because trying to just figure out who we could play and who was still in the game. Now, fortunately, a lot of them came back into the game. But we continued to move the ball, and that was good. Tyler Zadinsky had a good game for us. Nick Bingham got in and got his first action, and really he's played on special teams, but first time playing much on offense. And and we still came up with 500 yards on offense. So our guys kept battling, and unfortunately we came up just a little short.
Looking ahead now, last year at this time, here we are, you guys beat Arkansas State. Just going to a bowl game, it didn't happen. How have they gotten so much better when you guys have slipped back? Is it just one of those years that this has happened?
Well, what it looks like to me in their regard is that they got off to a 1-3 start, but they played USC and Missouri. Then they got on a roll. They played very well in conference play. They're averaging almost 50 points a game in conference games. Their quarterback, Freddie Knighton's playing really well. Their running back's playing really well. Their 2 receivers are really playing well. Defensively, they're getting lots of takeaways. They've stayed relatively healthy through conference play as I look at the games, and I think Coach Anderson made a comment yesterday that they've stayed really healthy. I think they've been able, because of that, to get better as the season's gone on. They may be playing about as good as they've played all year right now here at the end. Staying healthy helps you do that. And, we're kind of, last year I think they were beat up when they came in here and um, fighting some different things like that. And the tables are kind of turned right now from last year to this year. Those things happen in this game.
You take last year's tape and show it to the kids, saying, hey, we beat these guys last year. Let's do it again. This is the way we did it. Let's do this. Try to repeat this.
Well, I think our guys believe they can beat them because they have. I don't think I have to spend a lot of time reminding them of that. And it will be part of the cut-ups and things that we show to them about how we moved the ball last year or defended them and things like that. But, you have to spend a lot of time on this year's too. But I think you always draw confidence when you've been there and done that and know you can.
On the road this year, what's the key to turning that around on the road going into Saturday's game?
Arkansas State.
Arkansas State, yes, sir.
Play better.
Play better.
Well, I mean, really, seriously, playing better is usually the key element. I think there's always a degree of mental focus and toughness that you have to win on the road because of being in front of their fans and not your fans and things like that. But you got to play well when you're on the road. That's the biggest thing you have to do to give yourself a chance.
And is it a motivator? Maybe you like playing spoiler this time around for the team?
I think it probably. It's not I don't think it's the first thing on their mind, but I think they want to win for different reasons and spoiling it for Arkansas State. But sure, I think that's always a little in the back of your mind anytime you're in that situation.
How's Rob? Is he better? Is his first coach just going to leave him?
He'll have it the rest of the year. Now, he didn't practice Sunday. We'll see how he. But I wouldn't have expected him to practice Sunday either. And it's too early in the week for me to project just yet, how much he'll be available for Saturday.
He can get, how far is he away from 1,000 yards? Is he 50 yards or something like that?
I think he's at like 9:15, something around there.
So he needs about 85 yards. Yeah.
He didn't get, how many, can he get any yards this past one?
I know he had one carry of about 15, 16 yards Saturday, so.
Is that even motivated? Y'all motivated to get him 1,000 yards? Y'all even think about that?
Haven't given it a lot of thought. Now that you mention it, it's a good thought. I'm sure Rob is motivated by it, and the linemen probably are always motivated about trying to have a 1,000-yard rusher. We're not sure Rob's going to be available to play yet, so I think the biggest thing right now is see what his availability will be.
This is a game, we both played coach. You only get so many chances to play games. This is 12 games this year, and this is the last time a lot of these guys will ever put on a uniform. It's going to be pretty emotional for the players, I'm sure. Talk about that a little bit and tell us about how you even coach to that at all, about this being the last time you go out hard, or how do you deal with that?
Yeah, I think you do. I mean, 2 weeks ago was kind of an emotional evening for our seniors because it was their last home game. But when they take the uniform off Saturday, it'll be for the last time. And, usually on the road, last times are just as emotional as at home. Some of those guys, I've seen a lot of them that don't want to take the uniform off for the last time. They'll sit there for a long time before they'll even take it off. So, and that'll be talked about as we go through the week and our seniors and what they've given to this program. And we talked about that a lot before the last home game, so you know what that is and everything.
As a coach, you're emotional about this too, though, right? I mean, this is your family for 13, since whenever. I mean,
some of them 5 years.
Yeah, and so it's it's hard not to get a little teary-eyed about some of these guys who've grown up on it.
Well, I think there are 8 guys on the team that have been here 5 years, and and a number that have been here 4 years. Adrian Ballard played all 4 years. He never redshirted. And some others that came in, as JC guys. But sure, it is the last time this team will really be together is Saturday, and we'll have a team meeting on Sunday. But those are the last times that this team will exist as it is, and things change and roles change, and those are always sentimental, emotional times for coaches and for players.
As you think back on the last 4 years, 5 years, what's maybe the best memory that you have of this group and what they've been able to accomplish?
I think they're, I don't know if you can pin it down to one, Joe. This group came in here when it was an FBS wannabe, coming out of 4-7 FCS season, those 5 kids. They've been through 3 conferences, a stadium change, bowl qualification twice and snub twice. And now this year, if they were 5-7, maybe they'd get in. I just think the whole encompassing tenure of their career, the ups and downs, and I know some of them have had personally with family or academics or injuries or, you live and die with them as your kids, for 5 years. And, I know things about each of them, and they know and we know, and we've talked about things that probably only my children and I talk about, So I don't know if there can be a moment that is more overriding than that. I mean, I'm sure I can remember some plays for each one of them or some games, and who can't remember a couple of Tim Gay's big blocks and things like that. But I think, to me, if you're a football coach that cares about your guys, then, and they all do, but I think you really kind of remember maybe the off the field things and the life things that you've gone through with them as much as a win or anything else.
It's the quiet times, Coach, isn't it? Really the times that you spend alone with these guys, the time in practice where you see them take each steps, and that really mean even more than the game sometimes, right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, as a lot of people only see the games and the wins or the losses or the gains or whatever. And, in our game, we wear a uniform and a helmet, kind of a suit of armor. So sometimes you can almost lose the emotional connection as a fan to a player like you maybe can get in basketball or baseball, where you see more facial expressions and can almost, attach yourself into them a little bit, where, and nobody completely ever understands what we do as coaches in regard to life skill development and advice and helping young people grow up, and sometimes giving them tough love. And, we get judged by wins and losses, but as I've said many times, we're human development potential people. We're trying to develop them in every aspect of their life, academically, athletically, socially, and maybe even spiritually. And that's what our job is, to take them in those areas where they can't take themselves. And each young man requires different things, or needs different things from their coach, and I think those relationships are what stay with you for a long, long time.
Last but not least, there's a job available in Toledo. I'm going to take that job, Coach.
Wait, is that in Texas? No, I'm not going.
I want to make sure. I had to ask that.
Yeah, okay, I'm sure. That rumor's going around?
That in Georgia.
Georgia? No. I like when Willie sings that song, though. That's good. Yeah.
What did Tyler Sitzinski show you with the opportunity that he had with 24 carries? It's not easy to get 170 yards against anyone.
No. Well, I think, number one, his growth in our offense, his grasp, his understanding of things, his confidence grew during the game. His ability to see some cuts. He missed some cuts during the game, but he saw a bunch of cuts too, and I think he'll be better for it in the future because of the playing time he got and those kinds of things. And just the things you don't notice as maybe a fan sometimes is a block or two here or there, or his fakes or things like that. Not just when he carried the football. You see a guy that can be a little bit like Rob Lowe. He carried the ball well, but he also did other things well in our offense, which you appreciate a great deal because when the linebacker blitzes, Tyler Jones needs somebody to pick him up.
Following up on that, how does a performance like that, how far does a performance like that go in how you evaluate what you have to work with going into next season?
Well, it goes a long way. I mean, it's guesswork until you see him do it. And you can see him do it on the practice field. And as I tell him, the only thing I have to judge sometimes is what I see you do on a daily basis at practice. And when I see you make mistakes, then it's hard to put you in a game. When I see you do good things, and it's easier to put you in a game. But still, there's nothing like going in when the helmets change colors and the game's on the line and who can actually perform and do those kinds of things. And I think Tyler, just from what I saw in that game, he'll get better and better at seeing different things as he undergoes more PT in games and things like that, where he's got to make those decisions like that. But I thought he did a nice job.
Do you go into this final game with kind of a mental checklist on what you'd like to evaluate to know kind of where things stand with players going into the spring?
Not really. I go into this game trying to win. I think the players want to win. They don't want me to think about the first game next year. They want me to win the football game, and they want to win the football game. And now in the course of that action, if Nick Bingham or whoever gets to play a little bit more, that's great. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. But I think the first goal has to be always to give your team their best chance to win. And if that's playing Rob Lowe over Tyler, if Rob's ready, then that's what we'll do. And there may be a point in time in the game where you may not be able to win, or you've got it won. Either way can happen. And you may think about some of those kinds of things. But I don't think you go into the game with that mentality as much as the mentality of how can we win this football game.
From the player's standpoint, though, do you see that there's guys who can make a statement that they want to be the starter going into the spring or going into next season, and they'll show it to you in this game?
Well, I think Tyler did that a lot last week. I think he had an opportunity. I always tell him, prepare for your opportunity, or your opportunity may embarrass you. He prepared for it. He responded. He didn't do it against Arkansas State. He did it against Idaho. This is a little better defense. But that was a great response. It gives you some confidence in him as you go into the offseason, and some understanding of what his ability is and how to build around him a little bit. So those are good things. And, there are a lot of young guys that have gotten to play or had to play this year, maybe before they're ready because of the injuries and things that you have during a season. So, the key, I think, to some of that is that once they've gotten playing time, then you got to get them better, and they got to get better, and that's always a big key.
Coach, you mentioned Carden was out last week and White got injured. How are the tight ends looking this week onto the game, and who's third in line if either one of them can't go?
We played Tim Gay at tight end last game. We played Gabe Schrade some at tight end. We played Chris French some at tight end. I think that covers it. That's 5 of them, isn't it? And I don't know what their availability is yet. I'm optimistic, but it's too early for me to, I'll know more after practice today and tomorrow as to how they're going to be able to handle, the injuries they got. And some you play with and some you can't, so we just have to wait and see.
How many positions does Tim Gay not play?
Well, as Tim Gay would tell you, he's a football player. It doesn't matter where you want to play him. And we're not, he played some tight end in the spring and running back both, so it's not like we threw him out there to do something he hasn't done some. We're just trying to utilize him as much as we can. He did a lot of good things the other day. He made some mistakes. We probably put him in some situations where he hadn't had enough reps at something. But Tim Gay's still good enough that we'll take that risk with him. He's proven that to us.